Hola, David Nuño aquí en TexAgs Radio. Esto es el TexAgs Rewind. I couldn't think of rewind in Spanish. My Spanglish had to kick in. Welcome in, guys. It's Tuesday episode, and today on the Rewind, Charean Williams. Every Tuesday during football season, we talk to the Pro Football Talk and also the Hall of Famer, Jamie McCoy. Keeping it real here, as did Jordan Pugh. That's his new nickname, Keeping It Real with Jordan Pugh. Maybe that'll be a segment for next year. We'll have to do. We also had Matt Moscona on, giving us his thoughts on LSU, all that and much, much more. We got a lot of stuff in the studio today, so we got to go. It's TexAgs Rewind.
Well, no, I really honestly don't think they have a chance. I hope they keep it close and do have a chance late in the game to put something together to win it. Now, if you get everybody back on your offense, I think your offense looks much different than it did, obviously, against Massachusetts, and obviously than it did the week before. When you have A-Chain and Stewart in there, it's just a different offense. There's no question about that. Take the two, they've lost more than two, but you three best weapons, four best weapons, whatever it is, off the field, and it's going to look a lot like we saw it look on Saturday. So if they get those guys back, they're going to be better, obviously. But this is a team we all know that just can't score points, and I just don't know that they're going to be able to score enough points. And by the way, what does the LSU quarterback do really well? He gets outside the pocket and he runs. And this is a team that hasn't shown that's been capable of stopping the run. So if they can somehow figure out how to stop the run and score some points, then yeah, it's going to be closer than the double-digit point spread I saw that it was. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one, I know. And turn it around. I mean, if they keep everyone, the key players, the core players on this team, this could be a quick turnaround. This could be a TCU next year because you feel like you have the quarterback and you have some weapons on offense. And you feel like if you change the offense and have a different play caller, that right away this team could take off and be really good next year. So I'm optimistic if these guys stay and some of your recruits stay that you have coming in. I think this could be a really good team. I do. I think it could be a really quick turnaround, and next year could be much, much better.
Charean, here's my hope, right? This is where the optimistic David pops out when it comes to this LSU game. My hope and my way of thinking that they have a chance against LSU is the fact that I think they've played good teams well this year, and this will be another start for Connor. If you get Devon and Evan back, and Antonio Johnson, who came back last week, is out there, and all these then I think the team you saw against Ole Miss could show up against LSU Monday, Tuesday, hopefully Monday. They start their search for whatever this next phase of A&M football is going to look like, and I don't know if that means staff changes. We expect an offensive coordinator to be brought on at some point. If you could design the future offensive scheme, considering you're going to have Jimbo as the head coach and how hands-on he is and the kind of offense he wants, what would you go for?
I hate to pick from, with watching TCU, I like what they do on offense. If you could go over there and steal a guy like their coordinator, Riley, I think that's a perfect place to start. Close to home. It's not like going from Dallas to College Station is all that big of a jump for your family. I know we'd potentially be able to give whoever it is somewhat of a pay raise. And that's kind of what I like to see. I know the Heupel over in Tennessee, he has a good deal going. I'm not sure if they'd jump ship to go in conference rival, although we've heard this stuff about Lane Kiffin and Auburn and whatnot. But I love what I see from TCU. I don't think that their quarterback is better than our quarterback, but he seems to not get flustered even when you're in down situations and you got to go down and get a field goal to win. They seem to have every, P's and Q's. So I like to see somewhat of that. They still run the ball. They pass the ball. They got a marquee playmaker at number one out there at TCU, which is the same thing for us with Evan Stewart. I think it'd be a plug and play. Show that tape to our guys this coming year and say, hey, you fit in right here, and just be kind of go ahead and run with it. So that's something I like to see.
If you were coaching the team, what's your message this week about this final game? You got some guys that are maybe not going to come back. You got some youngsters that are potentially thinking about going elsewhere. You got guys that want to be a part of this culture, but this is one last game. What is your message?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say define the future, and we're getting ready to climb the mountaintop. Like, so one of the things that I always say to my kids and my teams whenever I'm coaching them, I tell them this. I say, man, it's few and far between people who can climb that mountain. When you climb the mountain, the air gets thin at the top. All right, people start to fall off, and they're not willing to take that extra step in order to get to the top. What they got to understand is they are at the foundational moment right now. They are at the base of that mountain. Freshmen playing, young guys playing, sophomores playing. This could be the thing that can catapult them to that next level going into next year. You can't be caught up in where you are right now at the bottom of that mountain when you know the ultimate prize is at the top. This is that extra step that we take as we launch into the offseason. We build the momentum into the offseason, and now we're hungry to get there because we don't want to stay at the bottom anymore. You know what I mean? That's what I would say to the team. We're climbing this mountain, and it starts now. So either you in or you out, and let's move forward and let's go from there.
Jordan, last thing for you. How important, and I think this is going to happen, that Jimbo makes the necessary changes quickly, doesn't drag his feet, whatever he tries to do, because of signing day is December 21st. You've got guys who are considering the portal. Maybe they're not. Maybe they'll stay. But the fact that, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is our plan, and this is going to be the guy who's going to help us get there.
I think it's very important. I think he needs to do it within a week's time. You got guys that may be considering the transfer portal. You have guys that may be considering transferring in. They need to know what the plan is. What are we doing offensively? Who's going to be the new coaches? Are we firing any coaches? You're looking at the potential recruits that you have coming in on the 21st on the early signing day. I think there needs to be a mad dash of movement or changes quickly so you can give certainty to the players that are potentially on the team or not on the team, right? So I just think that, man, he has to have his plan in place. I think he's been formulating that plan for what to do after this game, and he just got to implement it and believe in what his convictions are and move forward from there.
I don't know, 13, 14 months ago, there was the rumors of Jimbo to LSU. I think you were one of the first to say that they had zeroed in on Brian Kelly. And here they are going to Atlanta and maybe even thinking an outside chance to get into the playoffs. How did we get here?
Man, that's a great point. Well, I think if you look at the hiring of Brian Kelly, I don't think Scott Woodward last year was ever really interested in Jimbo. I think that was a smokescreen. That ship had sailed. And Scott likes to work in the shadows. So clearly, while a lot of people were focused on Lincoln Riley and maybe some other names, that was always Scott Woodward's target was Brian Kelly, and he landed it. Obviously, Texas A&M people know all too well about Woodward, his big game hunting prowess as an athletic director. But I mean, David, by anybody's measure, nobody thought this team was going to win the SEC West and be in Atlanta. I thought Alabama had so much to prove. You and I sat there at media days and talked. Boy, Bama this year looked like a team that was out for vengeance after losing the national championship game the way they did. But for LSU, the how is they got much better play from Jaden Daniels than many people had thought. Matt House's defense has been better than good. At times they've been outstanding. And it's a year where, well, you've had some surprises. Bama losing to Tennessee for the first time in 15 years. Texas A&M obviously having a down year, which has been a story. Auburn firing its coach. I mean, a lot of those circumstances sort of gelled together at a time when LSU was on the ascent under a really good coach that they've maximized their roster. So here we are.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I mean it with all due respect to LSU. I do. And I'm coming from a position of what A&M was in 2020 when I asked this. Billy brought up that LSU kind of reminds him of 2020 A&M and the fact that they don't seem that good, but they're good because they win. Do you see that? And are they that good?
The comp to 2020, I'd probably look. Man, 2020 is such a blur for so many, right? I mean, it was such an odd year where it started late, and You didn't play a full season, and it was just weird. So, I mean, I know the team was 9-1 and went to the Orange Bowl and had a really fine season. But I'm making the comp. I'm not sure, but I do understand the question, and I think it's fair. And this is what I would say: LSU is not a good enough team to just roll its helmet out there, not play well, and go win. Look at the scare they got against Arkansas. I mean, that was a 13-10 ball game against a team that was playing both its second and third quarterbacks at time during that game. So, an Arkansas team which defensively has been awful, objectively awful at times this year. So, the big, maybe the most impressive thing LSU has done is that they have consistently played at a max level this year. You just haven't seen these games where they lay down or don't play well after, obviously, the opener against Florida State. And I think that consistency is why they've been able to win. So I do understand the question. I think there's merit to it, David. I think, look at the SEC championship game. LSU is a 16-point underdog in the conference title game. I mean, that definitely shows the perceived disparity between LSU and Georgia.
I don't know why I have to talk with my hands sometimes. Comment. Subscribe. That's it. See you. Bye.